What's up, guys? Tony here from Tony's Toolbox. Back again for another Tony Talks. We still don't have a better name, so I'm sorry about that. Man, this is bad lighting over here. Whatever. There were some other questions out in the comments throughout my various videos, but the one that I saw that piqued my interest the most was actually off the first Tony's Talks from John, and he was wondering essentially he was wondering about how electric powered lawn equipment is factoring into our day-to-day operations. And so we're going to talk about that a bit today. To begin with, we're going to backtrack a bit. And this will go back to the gas crisis from a few years ago. And I don't want to call it a crisis because of the shortage, but, those of you who are over 10 years old must remember, 4 or 5 years ago, cheap gas was like $4 a gallon. Like cheap. At least by me. I'm sure in the middle of nowhere it was like $3.70 or $3.80 or whatever. There were a few times it was really close to $5. And you're talking for, 87, not 93. So, what that did was it started, the technology was always there, but it started a big push for propane powered. There was propane conversions on all the walk-behinds, the standers, all the big commercial equipment. None of the push mowers and stuff, but they even started making them for the weed whackers and blowers and stuff like that. There was all these conversion kits available because at the time, propane, while not cheap, was significantly cheaper than gasoline when it was, like I said, approaching $5 a gallon. So there was starting to become a big push for it. We were looking into it, but the problem is the conversions were so expensive that by the time it would have evened out through the savings from propane, it would have been time to start over, new equipment, 7, 8, 9 years later, whatever the case may be, and you really wouldn't have made any money, so it was just a big extra headache to get it converted, and then you'd have to make an extra stop to the propane place to get those swapped out or refilled or what have you, on top of you still needing to get gasoline for the trucks and the equipment that you didn't get converted to propane. So when you kind of outweighed everything, pros and cons, it just didn't make much sense for us personally, the way our business works. I'm sure there's a lot of companies out there that it makes perfect sense. Guys who solely take care of like big commercial, I'm talking huge commercial places, cemeteries, stuff like that, where it might have been smarter and the equipment lasts a little bit longer. We do a lot of commercial, but we also do a lot of residential, so there's a lot of curb hopping, a lot of banging around, a lot of on and off the trailer, driving from job to job to job. You don't sit at a place and just mow a high school all day. You're doing 100 houses a day. Stuff's going up and down, hitting ramps, hitting bumps, driving around. You're curb checking with the trailers, on and off. Stuff gets beat up. The bearings, the bodies, so like the machines typically last 7, 8 years, and we end up trading them in. So for us, the propane never really made much sense when we started factoring it all out. That brings us to electric, battery powered. Now, the battery-powered stuff, when it first came out, was terrible. Much like, if you guys can think back to when power tools first started becoming battery-powered, they just were nowhere near the power capabilities of corded or pneumatic. But as time went on, and there's actually this new company that I want to talk about in a minute, but as time went on, they like power tools, are becoming just almost as good. I don't want to call them as good, but almost as good as gas powered. They've gotten very close in the last 5-6 years. The problem right now is still that barrier to entry. And if any of those companies are watching, that's your problem. That's why nobody's using this stuff, because at least in my area, there's like one company that tried one machine out of the hundreds of companies around here. You know what I mean? They're too expensive. They cost twice as much. And because that, there's barely any in the wild. There's barely anyone to talk to about them. We don't know about the reliability. We don't know about the maintenance. We don't know about anything. And that's one of those things you learn by finally biting the bullet. But like I was saying, like you take like a stand-up machine, like a zero turn, for instance. They're just shy of double what a right stander costs. I think they're listed right now at like $17,500 at my local lawn equipment superstore. $17,500 for a 48-inch. 48-inch stander's like $9,000. You know what I mean? Skag's like 10. Toro's like 8 or 9 as well. So I mean, you can get two machines for the price of one. The problem is then you got to factor in the fuel savings, which obviously would be a ton. Supposedly these things are all the way up to 6 or 7 hours of steady runtime a day. That would probably last us. We're usually out 9 or 10 hours, but you got to factor in driving around time. And the machines aren't running constantly because you shut it off to edge or sweep or turn over the dirt or pull weeds or whatever. So it's not running, no machine is running 10 hours a day. Some get pretty close, but none of them are really running the full day. So you're gonna get instant savings, obviously, if you pick one up. The only things you have to do is grease a bunch of fittings. The batteries can go bad, which are very expensive, and then tires. But there's nothing else, and the blades, obviously. So you don't have to worry about a lot of the wear and tear items that come on the way most commercial mowers are designed now. But a lot of it really has to do with just how expensive they really are. If they came down in price and it was maybe $1,000 more than a gas-powered one, we'd be willing to try one, and then you'd really be able to weigh the pros and cons. But as it sits, when they cost nearly twice as much, it's too much risk, personally. And that's not counting, it's not automatic savings. You're saving fuel, but it's much like a hybrid car. It's all in theory, because then your hybrid, every night when you get home, you have to plug it in, and then your electric bill shoots through the roof. And we run a ton of equipment. This wouldn't be just plugging in a machine nightly. You know what I mean? If we were to do a full-on conversion, I mean, just the bigger mowers, not push mowers and stuff, we run 4 at all times. Sometimes more. We have backups and spares and stuff in the sheds, or during leaf season we run more and stuff. But right now is the middle of the summer, so we're kind of as small and as condensed as we get because the grass isn't very powerful. But, you know, say at a time you have 4 minimum, 5, 6 plugged in every night. I mean, I don't really know if you're just trading one thing for the other. And then you got to start looking at the non-tangible stuff as well. It's like, when you're tired, don't you just want to back the equipment up and go home? Like, as the owner of a landscaping company, it already sucks. You're already the first one there, the last one to leave. The job's never done. As soon as everybody else is already on their way home, you still got to park all the equipment, lock everything up, call back clients at the end of the night, set up more meetings, do paperwork, billing. It's literally never ending. And then you're just adding another thing to do when you come home. So the savings really would have to be quite substantial for me to make the leap. I would be willing to try one and see about the durability and all these other things if they came down in price. But right now the barrier to entry is too high. The company in question is Mean Green. They're the biggest company right now. They do make one 21-inch, just like a walk behind. No point. Really, really, really expensive. Then they make a walk behind. I don't know if it's 36 or 48. I think it's a 36, just like every other walk behind. And then they make a 48-inch zero-turn stand on. At least that's what I've seen so far. They do have some cool functions behind them, like on the 48-inch, if you were to get the standard, they have like a blower attachment. It literally sticks out the front of the deck, and it's just like a tube, and it still runs off the battery, but the blades won't kick in, and it uses all the vacuum to just sweep off a sidewalk, and you just drive the machine to sweep, which all these little things sound cool, but basically what I'm getting at is it's not enough yet for me. I'd be interested to see if there's anyone else out there who's running a company that happens to watch my channel, if they grabbed one, because I'd love some confirmation if they're worth it. Yeah, so I think that's everything, and we're right around the 11-minute mark, which is, I want to try to keep these things 15 minutes under, so we'll stop it right there for today. I hope you guys enjoyed Tony's Toolbox Talk. No, Tony's Talk, see? Such a bad name, I don't even have it memorized yet. Tony's Talk, episode 2. We're still taking ideas for a name change for these. And please keep coming ideas. Please keep ideas coming in the comments below for what you guys want to see me talk about in the future. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch us next time. Bye.